name's Alison Stewart and I'm a manager in the project management team for the Capital Projects Group. So I'm responsible for portfolio level strategy, so looking across all of the projects that we have, and functional excellence in project management. I used to work in consulting, so I come from a management consulting background for Accenture and for Deloitte. I then went back and did my graduate work at Oxford, and I was teaching at the University of Oxford for the last few years. So I've now come back into industry in a very different way. So I'm now working to try and implement the things that I studied during my doctorate at Oxford. I guess as somebody with a non-technical background, what really attracted me to BG was the opportunity to learn something completely different from what I'm used to, and to try and bring my own background and my own skills into an environment where the type of work that I do isn't very common. So there's a real kind of mixing of experience there that you can bring your experience from other industries, and that's something that's not really that common in the oil and gas industry. It tends to be quite insular, so you can really make a big difference at BG by having a different background and be able to bring that and to bring some different examples and some different contexts to the industry. I think BG is very, very open to the idea of absorbing ideas from elsewhere, which perhaps I've heard that some other companies might not be. So from my perspective, it's been a great experience as a non-technical person coming into BG, because people are just really interested in finding out what you have to share and what value you can add to the company. So when I think about what's unique about BG Group, I'm really comparing to not just the oil and gas industry, but to a much wider kind of diverse group of companies. When you have the choice of where to work and what kind of industry to work in, oil and gas might not be the first choice that you'd come across if you have a background like mine. But certainly what I was interested in was working with mega projects, and BG has a really interesting niche in how we do big projects. We have a global footprint. We're working with a lot of really interesting and different technologies. The company is big enough that you feel secure, but there's a real entrepreneurial spirit here that means that you can actually make a significant difference. Each individual that's here actually can do that, can actually really develop themselves and make a difference to the company. And that is, for me, a really unique aspect of working at BG. The biggest challenge in my career so far at BG has definitely been learning about the oil and gas industry. It's extremely complex. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of terms. There's a lot of acronyms that are used, and especially because I don't come from an engineering background, it's been particularly difficult to try and figure out exactly what all the petrochemical side of things looks like and how that then feeds into projects, which is the area that I work in. I have found that people have actually been very, very useful and very helpful in figuring out the terms. You're always welcome to ask a question in a meeting. We have acronym binders galore, and I'm actually feeling now after about 9 months that I've got at least a basic understanding of the oil and gas industry, and I'm learning more every day. It's one of the things I actually really like about working at BG is that it's an environment where you always do get to learn, and there always is something else that you can find out about. That's somebody else's area of expertise, but that you can really build on and help to see how your experience and your background can lend something new to their understanding of what they know very well.